Hey everybody, Big Truth here. Today I want to tell you about the Fredericksen family Squatch story. The story came to me about 6 months ago from Cody Fredericksen, who is a subscriber to my YouTube channel. Now for a little backstory, seems there's still some stuff going on up around Snow Mountain. As last year, I think it was in June, a couple people reported being yanked out of their tents by apes. And this is the general area where this story comes from. So here you go, the Fredericksen family Squatch story. This story came to me by my father and my grandfather. My grandfather Gordon and about 4 truckloads of men, fully armed with handguns, rifles, and shotguns, decided they wanted to take a snow trip up to the old ranger station near Bear Creek. At this time in late winter in 1976, the rangers weren't there. As young men in their 20s, they decided, let's break in and stay the night at the ranger station. So they loaded up their trucks and scouts with beer and guns. They swept off up the mountain from Stony Ford. They got to about Let's Lake on Goat Mountain by the residential track when they all kind of felt like they were being watched. Anyhow, they pushed on through the snow all the way to Snow Mountain. They were at the Bear Creek crossing when they heard a loud roaring howl, something like they'd never heard before. Then from nowhere, a tree hit the first truck in the convoy, flying like a spear straight between the front and back wheel, pushing it up on its side. Now they were in a clearing about 30 feet by 50 feet with no slopes. The tree was about 2 feet wide and 30 feet long, with every branch snapped off. I do not know to this day why they didn't realize they were obviously being told to turn around. But anyway, lucky my grandfather Gordon had a chainsaw, so they cut the tree into pieces and got the truck out. At this point, they knew something was wrong, but it didn't faze them, and they pursued on until the snow got far too deep to drive through. They decided, all right, well, let's walk the rest of the way. They started on their way when they reached a clearing about 200 yards long. They heard the loud roar again, but this time they knew it was angry, whatever it was. Then they noticed walking from one side of the clearing to the other were massive barefoot footprints, about 17 inches long and 5 inches wide. About 4-foot strides from one side to the other. All 11 men, armed to the teeth with guns, all jumped up and said, let's get the F out of here. They turned straight around and left. The next summer, my grandfather Gordon decided he wanted to go back to the clearing, so him and my father Earl went on their way. When they reached the field, they were shocked to see dozens of trees flipped upside down with their roots in the air, sticking in the ground in the once clear field. My grandpa and my dad refused to go back, and they've stared mountain lions down and lived, but refused to go back. Something didn't want them there, and they took their warning seriously. We now realize it was a Squatch. The Fredericksen family Squatch story, Cody Fredericksen. Cody also tells me that almost 40 years later, the upside down trees are still in that meadow. Big Truth out.